we're here at Brand Theaters watching Annabelle Creation. Now, I saw The Conjuring, and I thought it was meh. I skipped Conjuring 2, because I didn't care to see it, and I didn't even see Annabelle, because I'm like, didn't care to see it. So Mike is like, we need to do a horror movie. We haven't done one in a while. So I'm like, okay, you're right. Let's do it. It was this or The Nut Job 2. I'm just going to say it off the bat, beginning of this. Shut the f*** up when you're watching horror movies. How hard is that? It is not your living room. I'm trying to enjoy what freaky, scary stuff they're trying to do or try to scare me, and it doesn't help when you're sitting there going like, oh, don't go in that room, don't lock that door, oh, just see it right behind you. Yes, we can see it. We are all watching the same thing. I don't need 6 people behind me narrating what I'm watching. I'm not deaf, I'm not blind. With all that said, this is how you do an R-rated movie. I was really impressed. Usually horror movies go PG-13, we start off strong, and then it was kind of bleh. Rated R, it's a bunch of boobs, a bunch of gore, a bunch of boobs, a lot of F words. And it's just kind of like, what's the point? So you go into this one, some scary f***ing shit in this. Oh my god. It's subtle things too. It's very subtle. It's like a window opens up, or there's the doll and it's rocking and it stops rocking. Something kind of stands up with the sheet on it. That is scary and unsettling. And then when they kind of do show you their ace in the hole, they also do it to where it's scary and unsettling. You're kind of like, I think I saw what I saw. I want to see it again, but at the same time, I really don't.
As far as continuing on with this universe that The Conjuring is building around some of the different storytelling arcs that are currently going on with James Wan's work, this is one of the more entertaining ones as far as the way that they tell the story, the way that some of the activities take place. Definitely, it's got a lot of...
Yeah, fuck you, Jeff.
Trying to figure out where I left off. It definitely has a lot of really great storytelling, but also it finds some innovative ways to create those jump scares. I mean, we're talking, The Conjuring is great for those things. As far as this particular movie, I kind of find myself putting horror movies on a different kind of scale. There are a few different things that I think of when I think of a great horror film, as far as like, was their jump factor, how tense was the setting, and how well acted were some of the characters. Did the decisions they make add up in the end? And for the most part, this movie does a really good job of selling its characters as far as their motivations are concerned. A lot of the characters in this movie are children, so some of the actions that they take may not be the same thing that you would see from an adult. As far as those actors are concerned, the actors did a really great job of filling in those roles and actually making them pretty believable.
The movie had a couple plot holes. When I'm watching this, there's a couple things I'm like, I get it, this is where you're at, but at the same time, no. Or better yet, like, this is happening when this over here is happening at the exact same time, and you're gonna say nobody saw this over here? Bullshit. With the kind of little plot holes, to me anyway. I thought the acting was good. I thought the main cluster of characters that had to be scared and frightened, I think, delivered that. I definitely felt their uneasiness on it. There's a couple characters that come in like, wait, you were in this movie? You didn't do anything. All right, that's fine, whatever.
One thing that I will say, that especially considering we've been doing, it's the majority of the movies that we do are not horror films, it would be really great to go into a horror film and not have the crowd be absolutely terrible. People that we watched this movie with were rowdy. They felt like they needed to have a conversation throughout the movie. It's like, hey, you paid $10 for your ticket. Probably best to, keep your opinions to yourself until the movie's over.
There's a part of the movie where I kind of went like this. That's all I can say, but I did that, and I'm like, it definitely has the scary, frightening images. It's rated R, and there's like hardly any swearing, like at all. I don't think of any. It's mainly for the frightening imagery, which worked, and it wasn't like it was in your face either. It was kind of almost PG-13-esque, where it's like flashy light, here's a thing, flashy light, and it's closer, flashlight, it's gone.
Overall, the movie was shot well. It's your typical fare as far as some of the horror tropes are concerned. The pan left, and then when you pan right, there's something right there behind them or something going on. Those things definitely happen. There are a lot of Easter eggs as far as tying in the universe together and making those films kind of connect in a way, because sometimes the stories are different enough to where they stand alone on their own, but they have the little Lego connectors on the sides, so you can put them together and make one overall story. As far as within those tropes finding some original ideas, they did do some cool things that I was really excited to see on screen. There are, like I said, as far as horror movies are concerned, there are a couple of great ones that you think about, that get to those 10 out of 10 ratings. This is not one of them. You know, it does fall into a lot of those typical horror tropes that are going around as of late, as far as like, you know, the possession film renaissance that's kind of happening at this point. That seems to be like the #1 type of horror film that's out now. In this particular case, I would say that Annabelle Creation was a 7.5 out of 10. It was an enjoyable movie to watch. Like I said, it did a really good job of building tension. It did some cool things, but it still fits into those tropes. It's hard to find a horror movie that does things that are original. This one doesn't do a whole lot of things, like I said, as far as finding ways to scare you.
So I am happy I saw this. I'm now going to go back and watch the other installments to this kind of horror universe shared thing, just because it's nice to see how things are connected. I would have to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Just because the frightening stuff I liked. It was finally like, this is how movies should be if you're going to go horror. Be scary, be this, be that, but don't just be like, let's throw some and some tits and some blood and times it by 10 and now we've got ourselves a Saw movie. You don't need to go through all that. You want to make it something scary? This is a good example. I was really impressed. I really was. Being kind of guy that's like, I would probably see this again maybe later, like a couple weeks later, or just kind of wait for Redbox so I can maybe enjoy more. So James Wan produced this movie. So with that said, what's your favorite James Wan film, production, whatever James Wan did? Throw that down there. And if you can't think of one, then what's your favorite Conjuring movie, Annabelle, that's in this whole shared universe thing? Which one did you like? Go on ahead and like this video and favorite it. Hit that subscribe button, because when you do, you get more reviews like this, plus throwbacks, and some other shenanigans and stuff that we are working on. I promise. I know I say it all the time. You're like, well, where is it? It's coming. And remember, guys, you heard it here at The Source.